have no idea if I'll be able to remember how to recreate all that we just did.
It's okay. We're here now, and that's all that matters. What's up, man? Really good
What's
to
up,
see you.
brother? Hey,
to see
so you too, brother. Appreciate you coming on, taking the time. How do you pronounce your last name?
Renne.
Renee. Okay, that's what I.
Yeah,
that's what I
nobody
figured.
knows. It's okay. It's we don't actually know. It might be more like Renne something. I thought it was
Well,
French.
it
Turns
looks
out
like
it's
Renee
German.
without the little.
The Iju. I was doing the Iju for a while, but then I just realized like I'm not that guy anymore. I'm not trying to tell people how to feel or how to pronounce my name anymore. You know, they can say it wrong. I'm okay.
Hey,
with that.
you're talking to a Dax. I just roll with it.
That's pretty straight up, man. That's pretty straight up. By the way, like shameless promotion, this shirt, the order went out today, man. You're one of the first orders that was
Bet,
so cool to
dude.
me. Yo, man, the branding, man, Waxless Whoops branding. I'm so excited to actually have like something to go with like whatever it is I've been creating, whatever we've been building. There's like actually momentum. There's actually product now. There's actually ideas.
It's fun. It's fun,
man. Yeah.
What are you gonna? What are you planning on doing?
I'm excited to talk.
What are you planning on doing?
First, like, hi, man. It's so good to see you. Thank you for having me here. I love that you're doing a show. You came out the gate strong with this, man. That first episode was fire, man. Like, it's also funny because, like, you see the progression of you start with like, well, I don't know if we're even going to do anything. And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, we got a show, man. And like you like, we watched your show be born in front of our very eyes in that. It was really cool, man. I'm really excited to.
Well, I appreciate it.
Be episode 2, man. That's crazy.
I appreciate it. Like, I mean, I definitely didn't plan on it, but like I told you, I just felt like there was just some things that, that, I mean, people should have a chance to defend themselves or whatever, but that really was a lot harder of a start than I ever thought about. I really just want to kind of be chilling, and just talking to cool people and just, having fun and laughs and positive vibes. And so
it struck right at the right moment, I think, because you found someone who really had something relevant to say about the topic. People were ready to watch something, and it was just like, you caught lightning in a bottle, man. It was really cool.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
It was definitely struck right while the iron was hot. It was cool. And I loved what he said. I love most of all, though, what you said about, my opinion could be wrong, and I'm willing to change that. And I feel like that's a rare quality these days. So thanks for like modeling that.
I mean, it's very easy to get in your silo and get rooted in your opinion, and it's uncomfortable to challenge your opinion. But I mean, that's one skill that business has taught me is like, let your ego go. Look at the data, listen to what people are saying. And, if you're wrong, you're wrong. It's more about
100%, man.
It's more about
what sector
working, distribution, auto parts.
Okay.
Yeah. What in your IT?
You're killing it at it. I can tell.
I appreciate it.
Sense though that I can tell that you live life in a way that just works.
Well, man, I just think I kind of get the same vibe from you, which is why I reached out to you. To me, it's like life is short. You don't have to freaking fight, and you don't have to be stressed and at odds with each other and stuff like that. Yeah, when you're trying to develop a business plan or something like that, sometimes differing opinions is exactly what you need. You need to debate, but you can be a decent human being when you do it.
Somebody said true maturity is being able to entertain a differing opinion without necessarily accepting it, and just being able to discuss it. And I feel like we've lost the ability to do that because there's so much mental health issues surrounding everything, man. I talk about this all the time. I have a podcast. Shout out Waxless Radio. That's my show. Look it up. It's on all the streamers. I have like 8 or 9 episodes out. The conversation. Talk about coming in hot, man. Our first episode was the first person retelling of a exorcism in progress as responded to by the police officer. So it was like his story.
Wow.
Yeah, an exorcism in progress, and it's his version of the story.
And this is on what?
That's episode 1, exorcism of my podcast. So like,
I gotta check that out,
hot, man.
I gotta check that out.
Waxless Radio, man. So my mom grew up in the hood, and he still works in the hood as a cop now in the same town they all grew up in, and so part something about me. I don't really like associate with or like understand most white people. And I just don't like. I feel awkward around them. I feel like they're gonna figure out that I'm not like the rest of them, and I don't pretend to be anything I'm not. Don't get me wrong, but I was homeschooled, so I was super sheltered. So I wasn't really around any people other than my mom growing up, and my mom's like really personable, really animated, really like a lot of personality,
Extrovert.
a lot of excitement. But my mom grew up in the hood as a minority, as a white person, so her personality is not really white people-ish. So I didn't really grow up with white people. So anyway, I'm not going to get too lost on that. But the point is that I feel uncomfortable around my people, and I don't understand why they do the things they do. I don't get the entitlement. I don't get... I just get along better.
You're blessed that you get to see it from a different point of view. You're blessed.
I get along right with white people too, yeah. I think what it is that I am constantly trying to figure out how other people see the world, because I have ADHD and I was homeschooled, so I had to figure everything out. And I know that I don't think like everybody else, so I'm always trying to figure out how they're thinking, and I think this leads me to think more about what other people are thinking, and I guess that's kind of a positive thing. But, I mean, I really have no idea what's going on most of the time. And I'm like, hey, yeah, I never saw that movie. I'm sorry. I don't get the reference.
What's funny is I can kind of relate to that, because so I was raised with a single mom. Various reasons, not anybody is no negativity towards my dad or whatever. The situation is what it is, and it's not all his fault. I've learned that. And so I'm more comfortable around women than I am around men. I don't track with sports. I mean, I can watch a game. I'm not going to be able to tell you every single player and every stat. I can't watch it on TV. I'll go to a game and have a blast, but after that, I'm done.
The only thing I know about basketball came from NBA Jam.
What's that?
The only thing I know about basketball is all the players in NBA Jam.
Yeah,
like 93.
yeah.
But so you probably don't have a competitive nature, right? Are you like, I got to go beat these guys at whatever I'm trying? I don't see it.
I want to do the best at whatever I can.
Yes.
Not necessarily.
But you also want to be friends with everyone first, right?
Yes. Yeah.
See, we're not good at competition. You can't be beating your friends soundly and be feeling good about that, you know.
But I mean, if I'm in a competition, I mean, my opinion is, everybody around me, my friends, strangers, whoever, we all know it's a competition, and it's go for it. You know, you don't do anything halfway. You know, you go for it, and so I'm fine with competition. I like to smack talk during competition, which
I love that too. I'm no good at sports, but I will like hurt somebody's feelings for no reason. Just be like, and your mom disrespected your dad a lot. What? That's so specific, bro.
I like the smack talk more than anything. You know, I like that banter.
I used to play with I used to drink a lot, and there was this local bar that we'd always go to, and I quit drinking earlier on, and it saved my life literally. But I got no disrespect. I still hang out with my friends while they're drinking. I'm not that weird guy who like stands in the corner. That's awful. Hey, you want to?
I'm having a cocktail.
What are you drinking?
I'm just having just a bourbon.
What kind of?
This is Knob Creek.
All right. See, that's a good one. That's a good. See, I can still talk about it, man. I can still talk about it. I just did enough. I retired, man. I say, like, you know what? We put in like 38 seasons, and I'm just done playing the game. That's all.
No. I mean, I did all my drinking when I was in my 20s. I did all my partying when I was in my 20s, and then you know, my son came along, and it's like, so it's a casual thing.
I forgot to stop though. That was my thing. I had the kid, and I forgot the stopping part. I hear
you.
Yeah, it was not healthy, man. But like being a hip hop DJ for 10 years, like being out every night, like just playing for drunk people, and not really having a good time, like Red Bull vodka every night, man. That was the thing. Yeah. It was just like, it got to the point where my body's like, you're gonna die. And I was like, we don't want to die. But once my brain had understood that this is actually killing us, like the desire was completely gone. I praise God for that, because it was just like taken immediately. It was definitely a divine intervention that I didn't have to like go to any kind of like step program or whatever. I just went.
That's good.
Like, a lot of drinks every day since I was like 19 to just not drinking ever again. So I'm just done with it, man. It's cool.
Alcoholism.
But Knob Creek is a good drink though, for sure.
Yeah, alcoholism runs in my family. It's I've never had an issue with it, and I don't want this to sound bad, but it's just the reality for me. So like 25, my boy took me and introduced me to his friends, and they were throwing raves and stuff. And in Arkansas, it was the beginning.
Crazy scene, man.
Man, it was
scene.
so much fun, and nobody knew. There was like 150 of us, and so nobody knew anything about us. We had total freedom because nobody just knew. They saw us and they're just like, okay, they're whatever. Cops didn't know anything or whatever. But as it grew, and then it got known, it became very obvious that like, okay, now you got to start really watching what you're doing, because now they're paying attention. Now they're not stupid. And one day, you know, I guess maybe year 4 is what I'm thinking. I just noticed like it's not as fun as it used to be.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's like routine.
You have that maturity too, a little bit. You're a little bit ahead of the curve, I think, a little than most. You might have grown out of it faster than most did, but
I think so. That's what I hope for my son, is if he happens to follow my footprints, please wait till you're older, not 19.
but also like you're there to tell him the stories of what you did wrong and how to avoid that stuff. Like you didn't have that, so I mean that makes all the difference, man. I'm working with my daughter right now. Like I say, what I'm building in this season is trust with my daughter, and she's 8. But we have all these super deep conversations. I'm like, you know, you can trust me with this, right?
Right.
And it's building trust and respect at the same time. Like I care so much about parenting, and like mutual respect is so important. I talk to my friends all the time. I'm like, hey, you respect your kids? And they're like, nah, they're little idiots. But
Oh, dude, you got to.
Well, but hey, you created that though. Like, so you should respect whatever you made, and like realize it's something that you should want to respect.
You got to.
Parenting's hard, man. Parenting's really hard. Everybody's got a different situation. I only have one kid. A lot of my friends have like at least 3, 4. And every time I'm like, I had a hard day, they're like, yeah, well, no, it's cool. They're all cool, man. I don't have an issue with it. But hey, I have so much to talk about that I wrote down earlier today. I wanted to know what you want to get out of this, because I have like a couple cool things that I just want to share, like what I learned.
Well,
and what's helpful, I guess.
I'm open to talk about anything you're passionate about. I just want to get to know you better, but I also want, yeah. I mean, because what I want to do with these chats is I really just want to meet people that from what I can tell from Facebook and stuff like that, they seem to be good people. They seem to be positive people. They seem to be, you know, a good presence in FPV versus what we've seen with some. You know, it's like, okay, there's enough of that. Let's nurture the good side of FPV. And so I figure
it's always good to be a little light.
Correct. And I think, you know, for me, that's going to be fun. And that's why it's not scripted or anything like that. I just want to sit down and let's just roll. So what I would say is, if you don't mind, let's talk about anything you want to talk about. But let's also make sure there's plenty of FPV content for the audience, because I think
all FPV related that I'm in my notes. Yeah, I have so much to say. Yeah.
First question, and then let's roll into all your stuff if you don't mind. Because one thing that
no, you have questions. I'd love to answer it.
Well, the only thing I had in my mind, is like, how has FPV benefited you? Like, what's the love of it?
This is great, because this is a question I always ask people too, and I always say, like, what does FPV do for you?
Everybody asks the same question because we all know it did something for us.
Well, and it's so cool because this is the best way to start, because you see, give me like a second and a half.
Not a problem.
Okay. So if I look back on like all the things I loved doing, or all the things I gravitated towards, it was always tech heavy, but I stayed away from drones for the longest time because I was like, they're too expensive. I'm going to crash them. We don't need that extra level of stress in our lives. I'm the kind of person that if I can see that this decision is going to absolutely be safe and there will be no drama if I take this side of the road, And then there's like another side that like we might be okay, but there's a chance it could go wild. Like I'm going to take the safe side. For the most part, that's a general rule I follow. I also like doing some shady stuff too, so whatever. Led me to the amazing beast that is FPV was the Radiohead music video for Follow Me Around. And it was like a vintage song that they had just released freshly in 2022. It went with the OK Computer and Amnesiac, like all that re-release stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like they re-released those records, remastered them, and like they said, we played this song all the time during those tours, but we never recorded it. We'll put this out now. So then they also released a video that was like a tiny whoop. But keep in mind, I'd only just recently discovered like DJI stuff, like the Tello. You remember the Tello?
Yeah.
It's like a little tiny, like like GPS drone. It was $89. That's actually what led me to say, okay, I'll try it because it's only $89. I could lose $89. Like I'll do that. And then the Tello was like, oh, it can go fast. And then I got the Spark. The Spark goes even faster. Sport mode. I was like, I got to figure this out for real. Ended up with like a Mob 6 and a QX7 and like the worst goggles ever. No, I'm sorry. Okay, so the progression was Radiohead video, and I said, I got to figure out how that was possible. How do you go under the railing and then up into the guy's bathroom? Have you seen the video? You know what I'm talking about?
I think so, a long time ago.
Everybody
I'm
go
foggy
look up Radiohead, Follow Me Around. It starts in this alleyway, but then the first sign that this is not a normal video is that it goes behind a garbage can. And you're like, wait a minute, how'd that happen? And then it like goes across the street and it goes under a fence. And you're like, wait a minute, how'd they get the camera under the fence? And then it like lifts up and goes and like looks in a guy's apartment window, and then it goes in the apartment window, goes around the house, eventually behind the shower curtain into the bathtub, reveals the guy on the toilet, and like pans around him. And I'm just like, this is blowing my mind. The storytelling is incredible. And so that is my answer. That's what brought me to FPV, and that's what I get out of it, is storytelling. I love when you can take a good video and you can take a flight and somebody's like, whoa, like a good reveal, a good like plot to where you're going in an environment. That's a good video to me. Like everything else is just, there's a lot that, first of all, I'm from New Jersey, so I have a very high BS detector, and I can tell when people are doing stuff. So like when you're out there trying to get likes, I can tell. Like when you're out here trying to be Mr. Steele, I can tell. And that's something I just want to say to everybody. Stop trying to be Mr. Steele. Be inspired by Mr. Steele. Be inspired by the people you love, but stop trying to be them. Be yourself. That's what this is. It's expression. It's art. I'm a music producer. I produced artists, hundreds of artists. Like it's literally in the hundreds. I'm not even trying to exaggerate. Like I'm tired, man. I kind of quit the music industry like 2014. And but up until then, I'd say I would have never known that. 2006 to 2014, we went really hard and like helped create a local music scene where like known hip hop artists play now because of the venues that we kind of helped establish as a hip hop venue. And
very cool.
We got to play on festivals. I got to, with my work, I got to go on tour, and like I saw behind the curtain and I saw the elites and I saw how they party, and I was disgusted. And I was like, I don't want to do anything that helps enable this. I need to get out of here. And so now I help enable far worse things, which is corporate pharma and stuff like that. So, but I get paid a lot more and I do a lot less work. So, so that's kind of where I went with yeah, I got real sidetracked. Bring me back to why that was relevant.
No, dude.
Oh,
you're good.
Music. I'm producing musicians. There was a point. Because of the music history and the way that I would work with artists in the studio, I would work with them and say, like, hey, a lot of it is being a back alley psychologist as a producer. Like, you have to say, what they're singing is almost there. But if I tell them what to sing, they're not going to love it because it wasn't theirs. I have to suggest they try something different until they come up with the thing that I'm hearing. And that way it's their idea and they love it. I'm like, dude, that's the one. That's what you should do.
It's the same thing in business.
Try again.
It's the same thing in business. When we're in a meeting, you may know the answer. If you put forth the answer, you get objections. But if you can try to coerce, make little hints,
the board
and try
member to suggest it.
So then it's like, oh, it's a great, okay, now everybody's on board.
I'm glad you thought of that. That's good. I'm not trying to be manipulative. I'm just trying to help people own the best versions of themselves, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here. Yeah, right?
Motivational.
Oh, I don't like that. But there's reasons for everything. There's reasons that the Wu-Tang is represented. There's reasons that like Waxless is my name. There's reasons that the B is in the mix. There's reasons that everything's for a reason. So everything is like people are eventually going to unravel the threads. They're like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'm just sort of like building everything right now. I'm not really telling anybody about it, but I'm building whatever it is that's going to be this Waxless
I respect
Industries.
that. No, I respect that. I mean, it's fun, you know.
Um,
I'm more of a shotgun. I'm more.
I like that though. That works too sometimes.
I mean,
Just see what sticks.
I've got.
I love what you do, man. I was looking at my orders from you from back in the day. I was like, what did I order from? Because I know we got, of course, that.
Ah,
And
right
I don't know if you
on.
know what I did there, but I put a piece of black gaff underneath, so your logo is so good, dude. That bear.
Well,
I have a bag that it came in. It's up on the wall over there in the shop. And when I do whoops around the shop, I'll like make sure to go up on the bear. And, like,
Oh,
shout
right
it
on.
out
I appreciate
in
that.
my videos every time I shout it out. It's like, yo, represent.
yeah,
But, like the Wu-Tang thing, man. The Wu-Tang is represented so often because I believe everybody's better as a group. I believe that we're all so like think about. I don't know how much you know about the Wu-Tang Clan. First of all, they're for the children. But second of all, they are a group effort. The Wu-Tang Clan, when they were signed, when they got their record deal, it was under the Wu-Tang umbrella, and they were all free to get their own record label as individual artists too. But then when they got their advance, the money came back to the Wu-Tang Clan. Everybody worked for the good of the clan.
Oh,
and
that's
they
cool.
were more powerful that way. So when we got people like Vegan out here, we got people like Mayo, we got people like any of the known personalities, Bot Grinder, like everybody is better as a unit moving forward, not as individual players trying to compete at some game that doesn't even have points.
Yeah.
It's just one thing that I'm really passionate about is like when you're defining your flying, and I think that's one thing I'm really here for. Is what I'm starting to learn. What I'm here for is to just help people not make the same mistakes I did. I wrote down everything I have to say about FPV. My entire take on FPV is this. It's learning hard mistakes one at a time. It's learning that you shouldn't leave a battery alone because it burned down your garage. You should never leave a battery alone while it's charging. Please understand that. It will burn your house down if you don't.
Don't leave a battery plugged into your charger when you unplug the charger.
That too. There's all these hard lessons that nobody taught you. Like, don't leave your drone plugged into Betaflight for a while without like a fan on it. And because how many people smoked their things because
Check out this new little fan that I got.
Oh, I like that a lot.
No,
That's
check this
fire.
out.
Is that a DeWalt battery? Yeah, son.
Yeah.
I love
Dude,
that.
it's perfect for the desk.
Yo, drop the Amazon link in the comments below.
I got you. It
For
is so
everybody
small.
watching.
Because this is
That's
what I had
awesome.
been using.
Dude,
This
these
is-
little hacks, man.
This is what I had been.
He brings that, and he's like, and before that was the comment.
And I'm like, this is just too big.
Is this a bit? Like, are you gonna roll in one of those giant fans in the back, like one of the Home Depot floor drying ones?
But I think
So
I found
good,
the the perfect little fan for my desk for whoops and 5-inch to sit on.
So for everyone watching, when you plug your drone in, it's going to overheat because there's no air flowing around it like there usually is with the propellers. So if you're plugged into Betaflight, like at the very least, just blow on it the whole time. I'll do that in a pinch. I'll just like, my wife's like, what are you doing? I was like, don't worry about it. Just being a nerd.
Isn't it crazy how many flight controllers and ESCs you destroy at first, and then
I
you
wanted to show you this actually. This is
Is this
the
your disc bowl?
sum of my mistakes.
Is that all of it? That's not all of it, is it? Because that's amazing.
Oh, there's so many. Look, I don't have a lot of money. That's the other thing about me. Like, all this stuff was given to me. Like, this is crazy. I don't know why people, like, I help people and they give me stuff in return. So I'm not out here spending my whole paycheck at Pyro, but I mean, I would like to, but I don't make I make some money. I don't make a lot of money. I make enough money. I make enough money to like let my wife stay home and we have a really awesome life, but like there's no extra money. Like there's just enough. So, and I'm very grateful. My life doesn't cost a lot. We have a really cool, unique setup here, man. I'm really thankful for everything. Praise God. Very blessed.
Amen.
But the point is, I'm not like all these guys who are like dropping hundreds regularly. Like a lot of this stuff, like I have a couple people I call my parts sponsors because they'll just send me boxes of stuff. Shout out Mayo, man. Mayo is like, we talk almost every day about drone stuff, man. As soon as I do something on the bench, I'm talking to him about it, man. Mayo is just the coolest dude. He's a bartender at a super high end suit store in New York City, and we flew together. It was June 1st of last year. It was me and Mayo and Vegan, and we met up together and dove these towers on the river. It was just like the most epic day ever. It was awesome. That was in the iGow season days, man. iGow, I kind of like took on this producer of the team role. That's kind of what I was trying to get at in my long-winded rant before, is that as a music producer, I look at drone pilots as music artists. So I'm like, hey, you've got this style. You could try this. You've got a cool way of expressing and doing this. But I think that we don't really have a ton of self-awareness when it comes to who we are as pilots, and I feel like it's healthy to define that. Like, excuse me, when you're getting into it, I think you have to define whether you are a competitor or whether you're a skateboarder in the air, or, you know, like, do you align more with the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater or Olympic swimming? Like, which one are you more like, I could see myself really loving that or killing it at that? And like, or do you just want to be a real estate photographer, you know, like depending on what you actually want to do in the air. I think it's important to kind of know what you're trying to get out of FPV, because it's a very powerful tool.
But sometimes you don't know. You know, as you fly, you start to like, oh, I really love like juicy, like, so, you know, like some people also discover that that's what they really like, and that's not going to really probably pay or anything like that, but that's where your enjoyment is. And
yo, shout out Mad Cat. That dude makes a empty field look like a skate park.
Yeah.
Are you talking like it's like he's like spanging? Is that how you say it? Spang?
Yeah. Spang.
That's another really awesome thing about not having anybody around you growing up, is like you just get attached to your pronunciation of words, and it's nowhere near the right way to say it.
You know, you don't know until you get in there and you start putting in stick time, and then you develop something, because I think generally everybody starts with either they think they want to race or they want to flow.
Okay, right. It depends on who your heroes are, right? My hero was Finky, man. Benoit Fink, man. That dude, when he went like, the first video I saw was one of his show reels. That was just like, he went like this over a dome, and just the way that the spire shifted, I never saw a perspective like that. And that was really what inspired me to want to get that. Like, I want to see cool perspectives of stuff that I've never seen from above it or whatever it is, and I want to do it with a style that makes people enjoy watching the video. I started flying because I wanted people to enjoy watching my videos. Like, I wanted to share my expression. It's like, I grew up with a family of inventors, astronomers. Like, my grandfather was like a force in the astronomy world. He invented stuff. You know the glasses you can look at the sun with, the eclipse glasses? Yeah, he invented those. Like,
oh, right on.
Like, he had the copyright on the original patent, like whatever. He developed that to put on telescopes so you could look at the eclipse. I just used them,
actually.
Yeah, a lot of Waxless whoops, right? Started as I got a 3D printer, and I wanted to make it useful. I wanted to do stuff with it to help people. I wanted to, like, whatever. I printed those little canopies, these these things. The little, like, the whatever. I just started printing them, and I realized that they would mail in an envelope. So I'd just be like, hey, send me your address. I'll send you one, like, or two or three. It didn't matter. I just like, hey, I got a lot of these. I was using them to dial in my printer. They're okay. They're not great, but if you want canopies, hit me up. So I like mailed out like there's like 20 of them around the country, man. Like, it was like the day before Christmas. I remember putting them in the mailbox and like just sending them out because I just wanted to, like, I was like, hey, this made my life a little better, and if I could do this simple thing, I could throw a stamp at you. Like, that's all it cost me.
Yeah. Dude, that collaboration is just fun. The interaction.
It was just such a simple little effort, but like the idea of my whatever it is I want to bring to the table was really fulfilled in that idea and that whole like concept of just, you know, doing a simple little thing for people. So now what I've it's weird to do it without it, but I've invented a maybe we'll just tease it. I've invented a alternative prop popper that is going to not be gate kept at all, and it's going to be open sourced and it is 3D printable, and it takes about 11 minutes to print, and anybody can do it. Even if your printer sucks, it'll still work. Because I know a lot of us are like, I got a 3D printer, but like everything I print feels like trash. Hey, listen, you're not alone. Like, they are impossible to figure out. And I only had like a sensei guru type thing, man. I always loved the term sensei when it comes to like a craft. So when I saw your website was Quad Sensei early on, I was like, this guy gets it. But shout out to Calvin Miller, man, 3D Makers Warehouse out in PA, bro. This guy held my hand through everything. He was like, here's exactly what it is. And I got to shout out Brian Jones, too, man. He was one of the first people to really answer every single question I had in the FPV world, man. He was the very first guy who got me going and, like, taught me about literally everything. And then one day he just shows up. He's like, yeah, I'll drive 2 hours up to North Jersey to come fly with you. Like, I never knew people were like that. And I was like, this guy gonna kill me? Like, what's going on? Like, we're in North Jersey, man. We're all suspicious about everything, man. He shows up, brings like 6 or 7 drones, like of all different sizes, 3 inches, whoops, 75s. And like, I'd only ever seen like the one from the Radiohead video that I ended up buying. Oh yeah, that was the end of that story. Saw the Radiohead video, went and bought the TBS Tiny Whoop Nano kit. What a horrible first kit to buy. Like, it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing if you like tiny whoops, but nobody told me it was not a beginner's. I guess it was supposed to be a beginner's kit, but it just didn't.
So that was your first build?
It wasn't even a build. It was a bind and fly, and like not even as ready to fly. 'Cause it came with little tiny goggles and a little tiny controller. It was supposed to be like their answer to the
Emax,
the Cetus or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was actually. I don't know. That might not be true at all. It was a controller, goggles, and a drone. But it was like the cheapest controller you could find, the cheapest goggles you could find, and the drone was okay. But it was small. It was brushed, and it was 55 millimeter. It wasn't even 65. So interesting choice all around. That's kind of like my style. I'll pick something I like, and it's like the worst possible option out of all the options. I rode BMX as a kid, and my dream bike was the Haro Mira Flare, Dave Mira's skate park bike. And like, I was like a medium build kid trying to ride street, so when I got this 45-pound BMX bike and tried to bunny hop it, it was impossible, and I just thought I sucked at BMX. But I had a bike that
heavy?
was designed for Woodward, not the Jersey hills.
Is it heavy? Too heavy?
So heavy, bro. It was meant to come from like 30 feet in the air down on a half pipe and not explode. So, but I was just trying to bunny hop up onto a bench and looking stupid. So my whole point is that a resistance training is usually where I start, and then I'll end up figuring out the right things. But I think getting into this all is really important to just being yourself and knowing who you are, but also like, don't let the first time you lose a drone be the first time you find out that you're actually a big jerk down inside. Like,
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Like, if you've put so much hope and faith into FPV and into the feeling that you get from it, don't let the pendulum swing so far in the opposite direction when you lose your drone that it turns into the worst day ever and everyone around you no longer wants to be around you because you're treating this loss so badly. I've been around people who just lost their mind and were so angry that, like, okay, process it, but like, if you've got a ton of anger coming out on something like that, like, that's a sign of a much bigger problem that you should work on.
I can't understand that. I can understand that because you got to look at FPV.
I'm not saying don't be mad. Don't get wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying like pay attention to the warning signs. When it goes bad in FPV, if you're losing it, like, work on that.
Well, I mean, you have to understand that you're going to break stuff. I mean, it's not a cheap hobby. You have to go in expecting that you're going to destroy all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And you can't be upset about it because that's the hobby you chose. Now, I say this being somebody that I 4 or 5 years, what have you, I haven't lost a single drone yet. I've recovered them all. I've recovered them all.
Let's celebrate that right now, everybody. Round of applause. This is amazing.
Dude, I recovered them all. I mean, I had to mount a, I had to mount a, what do you call
DJI rescue it?
No. I took a Bangod, a 5-inch Bangod, and hung a treble hook, and I had to fly it over to my other Bangod that was sitting on this roof
Oh,
behind this fenced area that when I climbed under the fence trying to get to the building, the alarms went off and I had a shag ass out.
stop.
Yeah. So
Yo,
I
you
had
Mission
to
Impossible it.
Oh dude, I mean, I would love to see that video cuz I was like, bam. I came back 2
That's
weeks
good.
later, a month after that I've lost this drone and I flew with my other Banggood out with a treble hook and I finally snagged it and flew them both back to my I
Wow,
broke it
dude.
out. I broke it out of prison.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yo,
And
that's
then as far
incredible.
as trees and stuff, I carry poles in the truck. I mean,
Yep.
so far I
Yep.
haven't lost anything.
I got a tiny whip stuck in the McDonald's arch, right in the wedge, like in between the two parts of the M.
Oh no,
And it
how'd
was
you
like
get
one
it
of the
out?
giant ones too, right?
Uh-huh.
So I went to Home Depot and I bought this pole. It's like a giant yellow pole. It's called like Long Arm Larry or something like that. And it goes up to like 21 feet, but it's also the same yellow as McDonald's,
Uh-huh.
and it has like a red ring around the top, so it looks like I'm just changing the sign. Then I'm up there like I put a camera, FPV camera, on like a painter stick, like while I was trying to get the drone out of it. So I'm like, I got
Oh, that's
goggles on and I'm
brilliant.
holding the pole and I'm like looking at it to see where it's at. I look like the biggest idiot in the world standing out there, and it's like right on the main strip in town too. Nobody looks twice at me. I'm just up there like, doo-doo-doo.
That's
Get my
brilliant
drone
that you got
back.
that you know, you got it out with the video camera too. I would have never
and-
thought
and
about
then
that.
I never did anything with the footage. That would be a great YouTube video. Here's my
Yeah, it
problem
would.
as an ADHD creator, all right? I have so many awesome ideas, and a lot of them I pull off, but a lot of them never make it to anybody because
I
they're
hear you.
just like, I have something, maybe you can relate to this. If you're an ADHD person out there and have what I call like priority paralysis, like if something's a huge priority, I have a really hard time starting to work on it because I'm like, this is so important. I have to work on it when the conditions are right or when the time is right or when I feel good about it. Or I've been so aware of my mental states and not associating negativity with something I enjoy that like I won't do something if I'm in a bad mood. But guess what happens when you're in a bad mood for 2 weeks? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
part of my ADHD awareness that's really helped me is that recognizing depression comes and goes in waves because of my brain overheating. Not
Uh-huh.
I'm really broken. It's just that my Ferrari engine of a brain with bicycle brakes has overheated, and I just need to stop trying to do everything. Emotional health is such a big deal, and I feel like we have none as a collective community in general. Like nobody has any emotional health. They don't understand their emotions. They don't know how to process them. They don't know what to do with them. I think that emotions are great indicators, but terrible masters. I think they're good thermometers, not thermostats, right?
Yeah.
Like they should tell us what the temperature is, but they shouldn't set the temperature. And when you know your emotional health, I don't know, you're just more effective, bro. But I think about, like, I keep coming back to this idea of, like, what do you want to get out of FPV when you go out? So, like, the before you leave the house list, right? SD cards, goggles, battery, transmitter battery. Check the weather at your destination. It might not be raining in your town. It might be raining where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
It might be starting to rain when you get there. But just, I don't know, try to get ahead of the bad day that's trying to get you, you know?
I like
Try
I like
get,
to
like,
look
one
the
step
day
ahead of it.
before. I like to look the day before because I I need to know if I need to be out early or if I need to be out late or if it's going to be
Yep.
fine all day long. Like this morning, you know, I got up early and I headed to work and I got up an hour early so I could stop by this park that's by my job and I could burn a few packs before I head into work because it's
There is
cool.
something
It's
special to say about the before work rip, right?
yeah. I mean, it's relaxing, and you know, it's like on the way home, I looked, and I'm like, thank God for this hot weather because there's nobody at this park right beside my work, and I was like, I know I got to get here to get everything ready to get online with you, but I'm like, I got to take this opportunity while it's here,
I love that.
and dude, I'm just sitting there, you know, I pulled off a 3-inch that I've had on the wall for 4 years,
Okay.
and I'm
What
like,
was it? What was it?
it's DC3.
Okay.
DC3.
That
It's
was
the first
the-
and
Yeah, who made that?
iFlight.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the first and only bottom fly that I've ever bought.
It does the trick, man. Is it 3S? 3S or 4?
4.
Nice.
It's 4.
Yeah, dude, that's what's up.
And it's like it's been sitting on my wall for 4 years and I'm like this year is
that's
a
cool.
financial this year's been a financial struggle year. It's time to pull like I'm looking. So like I
Starting to
got
sell
all
some
this.
stuff?
No, I'm not selling anything. I don't. I don't
It's a
sell.
financial struggle, but I'm not selling.
I don't sell.
That's us, bro. That's FPV people. We're like, yeah, times are really hard, man. The kid had to eat one meal yesterday, no meals the day before that. But I just got a new transmitter, and
I'm not selling. I'm not selling. Even though I'm O3, you know, I like everything I
I
build
still
now.
don't have
and fly,
O3s, bro.
I've still
not
got.
on it.
Oh, dude, I freaking love it.
I just got a Vista. That was the big upgrade for me, man.
Oh,
with
nice,
with
dude.
the 120 camera on it. It's like, whoa, that's clear.
But like, I'm not getting rid of any of my Vistas, any of my DJI. I'm not getting rid of any of my analog. I'm not getting rid of any of my Waxless, any of my HD0. Like I was telling, I can't think of who it was the other day. I was going through my Tupperware bowl that I keep on my desk that I just throw all my loose stuff in. I found, what did I find? I think I found 2 air units, a Vista.
Yeah.
No, 1 air unit, 1 Vista, 2 Waxless, and like an extra nano and an extra OG camera. And that's just sitting.
Like thrifting on your own desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just sitting over here that I've taken out of stuff.
Did you like Legos when you were younger?
Yeah.
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 Did you play with Legos? This is kind of like
Yeah.
adult Legos. Like
Oh, it's
putting it all
absolutely
together,
adult
right?
Lego. Absolutely. Like what blows me away is how FPV woke me up. So I don't want to say that I had a bad life, a boring life or anything. I'd say it was a normal life. From the time that I was like, okay, the honeymoon is over with the party. It's no longer the thrill. It's the honeymoon's over. It's either I chase after this feeling that I'll never be able to get back again, or I go find something else. And for a moment, it was paintball. Paintball was like help get me away from that lifestyle, because like
Okay.
I can invest $500 and I have it forever, versus I can invest $500 for a weekend and I don't have anything to show for it.
Yeah.
But you know, at that point, I was just go to work, come home, be the best dad I could be, go to work, take care of my family, come home, and it was just this routine, and it was a good life. But there was nothing like extraordinary. And then when I saw my first FPV video, I'm like,
what was it? What was it?
you're gonna. I mean, people are gonna. People are gonna
No judgment.
like cringe.
Judgment-free zone.
Yeah. So it was Drone Camps. He was doing a video of an iFlight build. I don't know which one it was. I think it was like their first one out or whatever. And I'm sitting there seeing this dude with these goggles on, getting this feed into his face, and he's flying under buses, his van, and over trees and doing. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Under the car is one of those, like, that's a crowd pleaser. Yeah.
I'm like, what is this going on? And so I immediately was hooked. And
That's awesome.
yeah, oh, dude. And so, then COVID hit.
Okay, so I was going to ask what year. So that was 2020?
So no, I started in 2018, 2019, I think.
Oh, man, you're okay. You got some. Dude, I came in so late, man. 2022.
I don't
like
think
so late.
Did you 22?
Yeah, man.
Did you? Because it feels like that's what's so crazy is FPV time is so different. Because like I made a post. You know what it is? I made a post yesterday.
Waxless just came out.
Yeah.
That was around the time Waxless just came out. So I
Okay.
saw people talking about it. It was like, oh, here's the digital stuff. But I was not interested in digital at all. It was all analog always, because like I don't know, it just really matched my vibe. Waxless means like imperfections exposed. Like that's the short of it. It means like not trying to hide our weaknesses, our inadequacies. Really.
Yeah.
I'm all about knowing where you have weak spots and then supplementing that with other things. Like, for instance, I'm too trusting. So when I'm about to enter into some sort of, contract or relationship with somebody, I get a second read on that person from an external source, just because I want to be friends with everyone and I want to trust everyone. I want to believe the best about everyone, but deep down I know that's not always. We're very similar. I could tell.
That's my issue. That's my issue. And then
bro.
Golden
retriever.
Yeah, dude. I want to help everybody.
I'm sure it's burned you in the past.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
but my
rough.
Yeah, but my outlook on it is I would rather go with the positive outlook, the positive trusting vibe, and get burned and be able to stand in front of the Lord and be like, I just try to go through life as positively as possible.
Yeah, because you're not gonna.
They've got to deal with the
you're
being
not gonna cause
burnt.
problems like that. You're not gonna. You're not gonna. You're not gonna cause any extra harm, any extra trouble.
I mean,
Something
the
that
Lord,
go ahead.
the Lord's got me. The Lord's got me.
Yeah.
If
man.
if
Like,
somebody
I'm
takes advantage of me
yeah,
one time, that's on me. That's on them. Twice, it's on me. Right? I'll trust you until I can't trust you.
I've had that happen with some people.
Right?
It's been really strange. But that's kind of part of what I realized, that like I can't be the help desk guy that people have access to all the time. I can't be on call. Like that's just not who I am.
It takes
some
a lot.
people
Dude.
do have that.
It took a lot of my time.
One thing that we're starting also, in addition to the new product that I'll just be teasing until I actually release it, but you're gonna love it, guys. I've got a couple out in the wild that are beta testing. Apparently, they're all out in the wild because I can't find one here. But so there's Waxless Industries, which is to help people with the FPV stuff. There's FPV Help Desk, which is all it is right now is a list of like what whoops and goggles to buy if you want to start, and like here's the simulator to get, whatever. Like it's a very bare bones starting point. But what Mayo and I have been talking about, we have the startings of a company that will be equipping pilots and equipping people in just how to act, how to carry yourself in a way that keeps other people in mind. And the company is called Outward. This is my big debut of whatever it is that we are pushing towards. The company is called Outward, and the idea is that FPV is much more life-giving when you're looking outward, not just inward, because it's a very in-facing thing. It's a very selfish thing, not in a bad way, but it is very self-centered, self-absorbed. It's all about us. Like, we built this thing, we're flying this thing. But guys, we got to stop. We really got to stop with these videos of guys in the park flying. Karen comes up to him, he tells her off, and then we all celebrate the guy. We got to stop doing that. That is not the way. Like, we cannot be championing these people who were jerks and like put somebody in their place, because even if that person walks away, they're still going to call the cops on you, and you have a problem now that is much bigger than your ego. So when someone's approaching you, you have to have this grace. You have to have this posture that says, I'm an ambassador for all of us. I am realizing that you are probably scared, not excited right now. And you have to just start talking people down from their fear first before you're like, don't touch my drone. Because, dude, those people suck. I'm not going to lie. Like, I see these videos and I'm just like, oh, it hurts me because she is right in the eyes of the court, in the eyes of the police, in the eyes of everybody else around you right now. You're the one doing the questionable thing, and you are not right. Like, I don't care how right you think you are. In the eyes of everybody else around, we are the ones causing a problem. So when you approach it with kindness, approach it with
kindness.
Like, how somebody you want to have a good opinion of you. Like, talk to them like you want them to like you.
And the hobby, and if it should come to an officer's on site or whatever, you would much rather show them a video where you're calm, cool, and collected, and they're the ones acting, because you're already
you're shredding, you're like,
you're already at a disadvantage because you're flying this blender in the air.
That too. The other thing too, though, is that you have to realize at that moment that it's no longer just about you. As soon as the third party enters the scene, it's not about you and what you think you deserve at that moment anymore, because somebody else is involved now, and it's now a two-person experience. And like, you know what
aggravates me?
With cops. Wait, what's up?
You know what aggravates me? The same line. There's been a few videos where people are actually intentionally flying around and following and annoying people.
No, that's not the way.
That drives me nuts.
Like,
that drives me nuts.
But what do you again, I can detect with my Jersey BS detector that person is going for like the Kanye approach, like the shock value thing. Like they just want any publicity is good publicity. Yeah, clicks, exactly.
It's all about that dollar.
I used to love Kanye, man. He's still the greatest producer ever. He just lost his mind. It happens. It happens. Poor guy.
Whatever. Well, a lot of rich, famous people lose their minds.
Yeah. That's, like I said, quit the music industry, man. It's dark and weird. I wanted to show you this. I have this AOS 3.5, and it's the first time I've built a 3.5. I'm
Nice.
just so happy with it.
Yeah,
But
I
also
love
was like, I gotta
AOS.
put some feet on it. So I said, what if I made some stupid little shoes to go on it? So I put Chuck Taylors on the bottom of my drone. And
That's
this
great.
is what FPV is about to me. I learned how
That's
to 3D
great.
model and print just so I could do stupid stuff like this.
I'm glad to see that you did the AOS. I love the AOS frame.
Well, I shout out to Grand, man. Grand hooked me up with a purchase of a bunch of random stuff he was just trying to get rid of, and all of it applied to what I wanted to do. So this frame was in
Good.
that bundle, and I was about to buy the
lucked out.
Grinderino, and I was about to build out the Grinderino because, I got to do some shout outs, man. That Banana and Apache, bro. Beast of the East is the best FPV event of all time. I got to just be so like, yo, Team Beast of the East, the best by far. Bot Grinder even said it, dude. He's like, this is one of the coolest like free events. Like, it's just so good. They put it on so well, man. Shout out
Didn't
to
they?
Banana and Apache.
Wasn't that
man.
at the asylum?
Yeah, so that was.
I've always wanted to
incredible,
fly
bro.
there.
It was so cool, dude. I got in the So we'll talk about that in a second, but Bot Grinder, man, that dude. I hit him up one day. I was in Philly for work. I was like, hey, you want to fly? I had just been like pounding my Cinelog 25 into the ground all summer, and I was like, I know how to fly now. It's like I didn't, but I pretended. And I just switched over to the Foxwhip frame, and Bot's like, yeah, man, let's meet up and fly. So he took me to his school. Like, he just met up with me. Nobody. Like, he like said, yeah, here's the spot. And that school where he flies all the time, we got to fly there. And he was just so down to earth and chill. And I was like, yo, I actually flew with him before I flew with, like, many people. He was one of the first people I flew with, which is crazy to think about.
You can tell Bot Grinder's a down to earth guy.
Yeah.
You can
No
you can
ego
tell.
whatsoever. Like, just super about
Yeah.
everybody. He's real cool, man.
And you know, it looks like he's having a lot of fun with that, with his park. You know, like chase that dude, chase that. And that's what I love about FPV.
He's him. That's the point, right? Be you.
Yeah, that's what I love about FPV. Is it starts with you know, I want to learn how to fly, and then I want to learn how to do this trick or whatever, and before you know it, you're doing videos, you're buying land to do a park, you're 3D printing, you've got a CNC machine, you're doing work.
You got
it's
a
just,
CNC machine? Do you?
I bought. Yeah, I bought one. I'm trying to learn how to use it.
We'll talk offline about that. We'll talk offline about that. Yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to use it now. It's been so hot.
I got questions, but we don't need to. It's not the time for that. Yo, Vegan is a great example of somebody who is just excelling at his craft, and he's got this brand, and he's got this appeal, and he's got this personality. But the reason why it's so good is because all he's doing is being himself. And he is exactly who you see in those videos. I've had him at my house. He's hung out with my family. Like, he is legitimately just as awesome in all those videos as he is in real life. Maybe even more so, man. He's such a kind dude, man. Like, so shout out to Vegan. One of my favorites.
Y'all are blessed to live geographically where y'all live, because you have places and you have people to kick it with. Like down in the South, well, I mean, you know, outside of Atlanta,
a lot of hours in between everybody down there, right?
A lot of hours in between everybody, and it's just not as FPV is just not as popular.
How far are you from like Atlanta?
I want to think
right?
Like 8 hours.
I was gonna say
6 hours, something like that. I drove it once to go see Paul Van Dyke, and it was a long drive.
I got to drive to Michigan at the end of this month. It's like 10 hours, but I got like a record deal, and I'm doing a record out at like a studio in Michigan that my my, like record label guy. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I don't want to really like say too much about it yet, but it's a long time coming, and I'm gonna live, eat, and breathe making new music in the studio for 5 days.
I respect that.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool, man.
I'm not musically inclined
to do it, but
I'm not musically inclined. The least little bit.
You know what's
Wish
funny,
I
man?
was.
Some of my friends are just like, I'm just not a musical person. Like, music doesn't do anything for me. And I'm like, whoa, really? Because it does so much for me. But
I'm not musically inclined as far as I can't sing, I can't play.
It, right?
But dude, when I hear the right track,
okay,
it's
you're
in
not
here.
This other person, yeah.
Yeah, it's in here. In like whether it's church or whether it's at the club or whatever. If it's that song,
Similar vibes.
It pulls that out of my soul, you know. And they're like, "What's that dude doing?" I'm just like, eyes closed, just I'm feeling it. You know,
Do you look
I feel
the
it.
same in both locations when you're feeling it?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. All right,
Yeah.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah. Just like a little two-step in the balcony. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
I
Yeah,
miss dancing.
I grew up in gospel church, man. So like it was like I was the minority again. So I just like I had nothing but really fun church experiences with all the soulful stuff that was going on around me, man. But it was a lot of
That's
that shit to it was.
that's
man.
cool. All my churches have been very conservative. Like me just standing there doing my thing is like way
There's just
out
a lot
there.
of guilt involved, a lot of performance, you know? Like, you know what people say, like, if I walked into a church, the place would burn down. And I'm like, really? So you think that, like, whatever you've done in your life is enough to totally negate, like, the whole power of Jesus dying on the cross, like, because of what you did?
I
And,
mean,
like, that's what a lot of people, but dude, a lot of people think like that. They think, like, oh, I messed up. I'm not going to make it into heaven. And like, bro, I don't see anywhere in the Bible where you're getting into heaven depends on anything you did. It's
Dude.
because Jesus died for you. That's the only
Dude.
reason that you can get into heaven. That's it.
look at
Like,
look at
why-
David. Look at David.
Yeah, right?
And God said that's
I think we covered a lot of what I wanted to get at, man. I feel like really all I wanted to say to people was just, you know, be you. Don't be your favorite pilot. Be you. Take your inspiration, figure out what you like about that, and then just develop your. But like, treat it as art. Express yourself. You know.
I
And
would
do
say
it in a way that makes sense.
for me, my motto is just chase the fun. If whether people think it's a good idea or not, because that's the one of the thing that gets me is people like to ask questions in the beginner to FPV or whatever group. What do y'all think of this? And it's like, why do you care? If you're interested in it, whether it's a bad idea or not, go for it. You're going to learn from it. There's no bad decisions in FPV because whether you bought this drone or not, or you bought this controller or not, everything teaches you, and
Yeah.
you learn what's good and what's bad from experience versus 80 opinions. 25% difference with this 25%, difference with this 25%.
That's such an important thing to touch on. Like, it's opinions. Like, think about this. When everybody starts researching on Reddit or whatever they do to go figure out what it is that FPV is, what's the first radio you decide you should buy? I always say this, but it's the TX16S, right? And then you get that radio and you're like, holy crap, it's so big. And like, you probably wouldn't have picked that one if you would have known about the other options available.
Mhm.
But it's just what everybody points to as the best, or at least it was when I was learning. I never got one, by the way. I got a QX7, which is also very big. But then I went to like the Boxer and then the Zorro.
I got one up
like,
there.
what's your favorite out of all the radios, man? What's your favorite?
Right now, my Jumper T20.
My guy. Where's mine? Hold on. Mine's nearby somewhere too. It's a great radio, dude. It's a great radio.
I love the freaking gimbals, the customization.
I even went a little far on it. I did the clear thing.
Nice.
Yeah, it was not worth it. Don't do it.
I loved that I could.
533 resin grips. Those are,
I haven't tried those. I love that I can adjust the
really solid.
gimbals. I like the shorter throw because when I'm holding when I'm hybriding, it's harder for me to fully extend into my palms. And with the Jumper T20, I've adjusted them, and now I have full. It's quicker.
Wait, you adjusted them? What do you mean?
Oh, your gimbals, you can on the Jumper T20, you can adjust your throw distance left and right as well as up down.
See, we're always learning.
Yeah. So now my throw is I can fully extend into my palms.
Oh, so you can put like a stopper on it, or
Dude, it's built in.
what do you mean adjust it? Where do I adjust it?
Here, hold on, let me get around.
Hey, everybody who doesn't have this radio, it's not a very popular radio either. But I mean, we're like, there's like 4 people out there who have one of these. So he's saying we can adjust this.
Okay.
Yeah?
So let me see.
Farther left to right or what?
Okay. So this plate right here
Yeah.
pops up. Oh no, I take that back.
Screws on it. Yeah. You
Yeah.
take the screws off.
And this little this C on each side,
Yeah.
they can move in and out. That square C. And now
And then
my
you just
throw,
calibrate the radio again.
calibrate the radio.
Oh, smart.
and now,
guys. This is
yeah,
smart.
dude. And now I got full.
What's the most creative thing you've seen somebody do with the radio that you're like, oh my gosh? I'll go first.
Yeah, go first.
All right. I wonder if I could show you. I couldn't find the product I developed, but I could probably show you this if I could find my pocket. my guy, shout out to Ugelin, right? Ugelin. He's not really like active in any of these communities, but I bought this tiny trainer from him, and it's awesome. But he put a logical switch on it so that when you turn it on, it used to be when you turn it on, it would do like regular LEDs, and then when you arm, it would go to the Larson scanner. Like that's just how it was programmed. But he programmed a logical switch to be backwards so that it turns on as a Larson scanner, and then when you go to race, it's on full blast. Which is
right
cool.
on.
So he actually programmed a logical switch inside the radio. Have you ever started really like messing with models and expo and stuff in there? 'Cause that's like you could do a lot of cool stuff, like dual rates and stuff too. You can add like more throw or less, and like that's like RC playing stuff. But.
The radio, that's the area that I have concern with tinkering too much. I've put
like
curves in
OpenTX
and stuff. Yeah, like
yeah, it can go wrong. It can go wrong real quick.
I mean, it can go wrong real quick. It's a little bit like 3D printing. So like 3D printing, I've got printing TPU down, and I've got printing, my X1C and my A1 and
PLA,
hard filaments and stuff. But to really go in and do test prints and test calibrations and then go in and tweak, like you're not gonna get me to do that. I have no idea, no desire to get at that last 10%.
I should.
Do you have a build tip to share with people?
Tip, yes, I do. Soldering is all about heat transfer. You should never use physical force.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And also, like, don't hold it on for too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, soldering is about heat transfer, not physical force. So when you're going to solder, you're going to put your tip on the pad on the actual circuit board, and you're going to heat up the pad, and then you're going to touch the solder to the heated up pad. And the heat of the pad is what melts the solder, not the soldering iron.
Yeah.
And your ground will always take way longer than you think to heat up because the metal is attached to every single part of the flight controller.
Yeah, the Hobby Wings ESC takes forever. love it.
Sometimes, but they also come soldered on, and it's never in the way you want it, so you want to change it around. I just built a Demibot for a brother, and it was like, this one worked out pretty well, actually. The first one was weird.
What's your favorite? So, like, for me, I Hobby Wing stack is I mean, it's my go-to, and I know the Reaper's really good. I mean,
are you doing the 40 or are you doing the 65?
I like to do 65 just because I like the headroom. I mean, why not? But I do 40s.
I don't know enough about the amperage limits yet. I haven't blown up enough ESCs to know, but I'm like about to build some stuff with 30 amps, about to build some 20s. I got all these extra parts, and I got like all this stuff to do. And I'm like, well, how hard can I push 20 amps before it goes wrong? What goes wrong? Tell me. Have you blown up stuff? Like, is it?
I mean, a Hobby Wing in the last 3 years, because like my first year to 2 years, I was just buying all the new ESCs and AIOs because I was just excited. And I mean, they're just going through them because they were dying. And then when I
was buying up AIOs
Yeah.
left and right, as
Oh,
far
yeah.
as the eye could see, stacks upon stacks.
Oh, dude. I mean, I've got like 9 OG cameras up here in storage. I mean, anyways.
I don't know why that became my imitation of you buying all the AIOs in sight, but you don't even sound like that. I'm sorry.
But once I came across the Hobby Wing, oh wow, I don't have to be.
There's some
I'm
weird
I'm
stuff
done
going on with it,
buying.
though.
I've had
Like,
one
guys-
die in 3 years.
Oh yeah. Well, I just put this one together in the first flight controller. I would send it up and it'd be okay, and then if I'd lean into the yaw, it'd be like, and it'd do like 2 to 3 360s before it would stabilize, and it was like
Sounds like Kiss.
no, it was a bad gyro, is what it
Yeah.
came down to.
I mean, that still happens
some-
from time to time.
People, I have this thing that keeps coming up, and this is like, here's another, like, if nobody hears anything else other than this, then like, you can't just go, and I mean, no, okay, you can, but it won't be advantageous to just go like changing your PIDs like to any willy-nilly numbers, like because you saw somebody else do it. Like, shout out to my people out there who are helping people learn things, but like the PIDs themselves are very specific to your aircraft, and they're going to change between each aircraft. Like if your particular frame has a weird bend in it, that's going to cause a different resonance. And that kind of stuff is, taken care of by your filters. Your PIDs should be kind of like set, and you can tweak them a little bit, if you're reading black box logs and stuff like that. But just going and changing things because, you want to see how it feels. Like experiment for sure, but recognize that the PIDs are more of I'm always about parallels, right? Like I want to help people kind of think about things in a way that is another way. So
Yeah.
PIDs are lug nuts on your car. If they're loose, driving around is going to feel wobbly. But the looseness of your lug nuts has no effect on the direction or the speed of your car. The loose lug nuts do not change where you go. It just changes how you feel as you go there.
Yeah.
So your rates are actually what most people are talking about these days in my conversations when they are talking about the tune. So they're like, oh, I just need to get it tuned like this. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, I want it to feel this way. I want it to be smoother. I want it this or that. And I'm like, okay, so let's experiment with the rates. Let's experiment with the center stick sensitivity. Let's experiment with RC smoothing. Like, how many people weren't told about RC smoothing? Like, think about your radio is talking to your drone. And there is so much noise inside this radio signal that you got to apply the smoothing presets for whatever your radio link is. So if you're on ELRS at 500, go ELRS 500 RC smoothing presets. They're in there. And, it's 2-point averaging with 65%, whatever it is. That's ELRS 500. But it's different for S-Bus. It's different for a DJI controller. It's different for Crossfire. It's different for all these things. But RC smoothing is something that I think will really change your life if you put it on because you're getting less of that sketchiness in there. Sorry, I'm just like ranting about all this stuff that,
dude,
I never knew about. I was like, I wish somebody would have told me.
My thing is I think a lot of people focus too much on the PIDs.
Yeah.
And don't realize that
they don't
default
learn how
PIDs,
to focus on it.
Like default PIDs was the goal 5 years ago. 6 years ago, you had to tune to get it to the default state that we are now. Like now, it's like if it flies
stuff,
good,
right?
just
like the beta flight
good.
right out the bat is usually pretty good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like change expo. Like, but also part of the thing that we can get ourselves into trouble into, and I don't want to sound like this, like stop doing all the I sound like an old man on a front porch, man. Like I stop changing all the PIDs and
now
stop
whippersnappers.
Yeah. Hey kid, I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading. But we gotta just kind of learn what we want. And then only change one thing at a time. That's what good troubleshooting theory suggests, is that you will never know what difference you made if you change 4 things at a time. So like with your rates, and sims are really good for this too. Like go in and just change the expo on the yaw and see how it feels. And like expo is probably what you're looking for when it comes to a difference in your flying. What do you run? What do you run, man?
My rates?
Yeah.
I'm running around 600.
600? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you using beta flight or actual?
Actual.
Okay.
Now,
what's your center stick at? The leftmost column, the center stick sensitivity.
It's at 1. It's at 1, and I'm running 1
like
600 1 point.
Oh, so like 100.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Center stick sensitivity. Yeah.
It's 100.
It's from 0 to 500.
It's 100, 600, and point 0.3, I think.
Cool. Okay, that's a fun amount of expo. That's what I've been at for a while. 0.3. But 100 center sensitivity. I've been messing with center sensitivity lately, and that has been changing my life. Like it feels so different because I was at 200, 800, and .3 like you're at. But that was for like my whoops. But I also put it on my 5 inches for no good reason. So I fly 5 inches like really sketchy. It's not healthy.
Well, for me, that's pretty. It's I don't know if it's a middle ground or whatever. For me, it just feels kind of good because for the last 2 years, I've been focused more on cinematic. I've gone and done some chasing. I worked on
chased planes.
No, I want to. I had
hard.
I had an opportunity.
So hard. I hit one the other day. That was Thankfully,
Wow,
the dude was real cool. Shout out to Sean, man. If you see this, thanks for letting me hit your plane. I'm glad it didn't do anything worse than it did.
I met
It
a
was just
guy
like a little nick, but it's like he said though, new planes are more anxiety causing to fly. So I'm glad that you did this because now it's not brand new anymore. I was like, oh, okay, good.
I talked to some
video, though,
guys.
man. It's good stuff.
They came by work the other day, and they're looking for an FPV pilot to chase their helicopter. And I'm like, I'm down.
Like a real helicopter?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm like, I'm down. Here's my card, and they haven't called me back.
Well,
I'm like, come on, man.
They never do.
No, sometimes they do. Sometimes
I was
they do.
watching the. Well, I mean, yeah, I meant in my experience. I was watching the thing you did about the AI for the waivers. That's pretty cool, man. I got to look more into that. So I got my Part 107, and then this is actually something I want to talk about. So I need to learn what it is that I need to have my ducks in a row with, because I went out and shot a video, and I don't think I did it legally, like, at all. Like, I was like, yeah, I got my Part 107, so I can do this. But
Well,
I need to figure out what people want from the town. Like, are there permits involved? Are there, like, I know you got to get FAA clearances of certain sorts, but
unless
I'm really bad at this.
Generally, from my experience, unless it's their TV or film,
Okay. Well, this was film, yeah.
they don't have a clue. They just
Okay.
want you to come and fly, and
Yeah.
so you're trying to take steps to protect yourself in case something should happen.
Okay.
TV and film, they're a little bit more up on it. You got your Part 107, the regulations and stuff like that, and so
I'm talking about, like, the town. I want to know what the town thinks I need to have, because we tried.
probably
This
won't-
was actually for the town, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you got to get a permit." But then when we tried to get the permit, they're like, "We don't know."
well,
They
I mean,
didn't
if
really
they,
know what we needed.
I mean, are you,
I think it varies from town to town.
it sounds like they may not know what they're talking about.
I mean,
Okay,
it's a small town, so
I mean, a
I'm not too
permit.
concerned, but-
I can't think of what kind of permit you
Right?
need to fly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what am I missing here? Okay, so it's not me.
I mean, because you check and you see if you can get, if you're
Before
in
you
your
fly?
restricted area, you get Lance approval. I mean, you just go on the app for that.
That's before you fly, right? Or drone
There's
zone?
several. Yeah, there's several.
Yeah.
You just go and and you be like, I'm gonna like, here's a tip, like X amount of hours flying or whatever. So like,
Yeah.
if I've got a job for that day, the day before,
But I'm fully aware that we went from, like, engaging FPV content to, like, the absolute lamest part of being a real estate photographer. We're like, guys, so what you do is, we'll talk about this later. I actually got to wrap it up, but
okay,
I think that this has been super productive, man, and I want to. I just got a couple shout outs I got to do, right?
go for it, brother.
So, first of all, like, the people who helped me get into it, Brian Jones, like, thank you so much, dude. Like, I would not be anywhere where I was without this dude's direction. He just so patiently answered every single repetitive question that I had for him. It was great. But then Miguel, I got a shout out because it was in beginner to FPV. I got scammed. I'm not that gullible of a person, but I wanted to believe this guy. He just said, like, I'll send you my old DJ Mini 2 or whatever for the price of shipping from England or whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay. I kind of figured I was a scam too late, but I told my sob story on beginner to FPV, and somebody was like, here's an old thing I'm not using. You can just have this. So that was Miguel. He sent me, it was a Armatan?
Yeah.
Armatan? How do you say
Number
it?
10.
Armatan. Tadpole. 2.5 inch. Freaking awesome. It needed some love. It was my first, like, rebuild, and then that got me hooked, man. Like, that dude, that was cool for him to send me that. That got me hooked on the building. Bot grinder, first person to fly with me, super cool. That felt like I felt extra privileged for that, man. He was just so cool for me. No, man, shouts out. Vegan and Mayo, of course. Adam Cable, the original Team Waxless for iGal, man. Like, don't sign yourself up for too much. I learned that in iGal. I kind of wanted to be, like, the manager of everybody's, like, I was putting the music together for videos and things like that. And, like, it was just too much for me. Too much work.
Yeah.
Fridays became terrible, man. It turned FPV into something I hated because it became a chore.
That's why this is
iGal, Pro
so
Looper, like, all that
raw,
stuff's cool,
so
but-
loose, so unplanned. Is I don't want it to be work. I want it just to be part of
Yes.
FPV fun.
Yes.
So that's
yes.
why with all the different directions we've taken the conversation, I'm fine with. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, dude, these are the best kind of podcasts. It's what comes up, what's on the table, what's passionate, what's in the moment.
yeah, I'm not trying to be a polished
Yeah, no,
whatever.
Dude, one of the coolest FPV experiences I had. Excuse me. Monkey, Porto, and How High. They rolled up and met me in my town, and I was like, I'm taking us to the spots. Let's go. We went to the airsoft arena, and we flew around in there. That was fantastic. We went to like 3 other amazing spots. One of them was like the Bando with the silo, and like it was so cool. So to rock with those 3 dudes for the afternoon, that was like a dream come true, kind of like just to have the crew hitting all the spots in my town. Like, let me show you this, let me show you that, and that was like that was just awesome. But flying with Mayo one time, dude, this dude got on a train, came to my town, and we went to the first spot. He had a golden baby turtle, and he was just having a blast. He's out there, he's sending it, and all of a sudden he's like, oh no. I'm like, oh, what happened? He's like, nah, it's down. I'm like, what? He just didn't even care. He's like, nah, let's go to the next spot. I was like, now that's how you handle losing a drone, bro. He's like, I was like, you want to look for it? He's like, nah, let's just go to the next spot. We don't even need to waste any time. But also, this dude showed up with like, guys, if you don't know Mayo, go follow him, Mayo FPV. This dude builds more than anybody I've ever seen. He opens his bag, and it's just like you want to buy a watch guy, right? He's got like the drones, like every drone you can imagine, the gold baby turtle, and then he just loses it. So every time I drive by that spot now, I'm like, Mayo's baby turtle's in those trees. I'm going to get it one day. I'll get my metal detector and find that 2 inches worth of...
It may be on the ground by now.
No, where we lost it, it was very intense. It was very intense. It was like a barn all overgrown, and like we sent the DJI FPV over to kind of like survey the area in 4K. Didn't work.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the last thing I wanted to say. Those are my shout outs, man. Of course, the Jersey guys, the New York City guys, man. I'm just real thankful for the community that has formed because of this. The first beach to the east was amazing. Yeah.
One question before we bounce. Who would you recommend for my next interview? Not saying I'll do it, but I'm just saying, who would you throw out there for a next interview?
I like how you're like, I'm not going to do it, but if you did have a question, if you did have a suggestion, I'm
going to check them out and see.
All right, hold on, because like a lot of guys have been on Quadverse, but I'm thinking about like who is the next, like who should you do?
And I'd kind of, let me preface this.
Do you have some options? Can I give votes?
I would kind of like maybe somebody that's not been heavily interviewed before.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm thinking too. You got to get like, what about like like dude, Mad Cat would be really cool. That dude's a crazy person.
Okay,
like, he's rewinding motors. Like he's a fascinating individual. White Fox would be cool. Josh.
White Fox. Okay.
Yeah, he's I talk to him a lot. He's really cool, man. Like he's just all about.
He even loves my motors, so
maybe
that's the way to go.
Yeah, maybe that's the one, man. Josh, that's my vote. White Fox.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen much from him yet. I think he was on Quadverse, right? Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I feel like he was.
I'm not sure. I see him on Instagram flying.
No, I'm embarrassed that I don't know. Sold myself out on that one. Have you? This is the last thing I was going to tell you about. Have you seen this? It's the Pocket mod.
Lower your sticks.
Radio Master Pocket. Loweryoursticks.com.
Yeah.
That's not a website. Don't go there. Watch a lot of Parks and Rec right now. I would say like my sense of humor. If you want to know me, like you were saying about like you said you want to get to know me. Like if you want to make jokes, like Arrested Development, Super Troopers, and there's one other one. No, I lost it.
What was the police one?
The other guys. Yeah. Wait, is that what you're talking about? The police?
No.
Oh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That was a good one.
Dude, have you watched the new Marvel Wolverine Deadpool?
No, I can't do it, bro. It's not my style.
Dude, it's so good.
I wasn't into like the superhero stuff ever. Like it's just not.
I'm not. I mean, I don't follow it like I don't follow sports,
but
the Deadpool Wolverine is funny. Well, man, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit down and just shoot the shit with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man. I feel like so like honored and just happy that you. I'm not gonna say humbled because that's not what that word means, but a lot of people misuse it lately. Like I'm just so humbled to be here. It's like you're getting an award. You're not being humbled. You're being honored. Like, come on. So anyway, I'm flattered.
No. Well, you just got a positive vibe, dude. You just got a positive vibe out there. And you seem fun,
Thanks.
and excited about FPV. So that's kind of the path I'm trying to take.
I'm excited about creativity. I'm excited about people being creative, and this is like the most creative we can be, I think, when it comes to like expressing ourselves in a way that's unique. Part of what I was getting at with the inventor conversation before is that like I was around people who always had something cool to bring to the table at every family event. They always had like a weird trinket or something that was like unique or cool or ahead of the time tech-wise, and they're always like, hey, look at this cool thing I found. So all my uncles and aunts are always like, family events. I'm like, hey, what new cool thing are they going to introduce us to that's like trendy or techie or whatever? So this really hits that for me.
Yeah.
But also it's such a cool like combination of all the things. So it's powerful too, though. So I think we just got to kind of, realize that it's a powerful thing, whether we're self-medicating with it, whether we are, yeah. But again, like functional saviors are just that. They're only functional when they function. Mm-hmm. And so like when your drone is broken or you're driving home from the favorite spot without your drone that you just lost, like, don't let that ruin your day. Like, don't let it put you into a deep, dark depression or whatever.
That's why you have a fleet.
I have a quick brain hack for you. And it's not really about that, but it's about this. Anxiety and gratefulness cannot occupy the same neuropaths or whatever. Somebody's going to say how I'm wrong about this, but that's fine. But anxiety, if you're being anxious, if you just kind of force yourself to be grateful, it takes the power away from the anxious stuff. It's like being on two different channels.
Yeah.
Like you can't be on R8 and R1 at the same time.
Right.
So like if you switch over to gratefulness, your brain can't be on the anxiety channel anymore. So just next time you're feeling anxious, just start counting your blessings, literally. Like,
Good advice, brother.
Little things I've been trying to figure out make life a little less awful.
Well, brother, I think we're going to wrap it up now. It's almost 10:30. I know you got to get to bed.
No diggity. You got to bag it up.
Again, I appreciate you, and I hope I can make it up that way sometime and fly with you,
bro. Like if you're ever up this way, you better call me. Like I'll be mad if you don't, because I'm an hour from New York City. I'm 2 hours from Philly. Like that's a drive, man. It's not bad at all. So
one of the things I want to do is I'd love to spend a summer and just go to different places and fly. Maybe I can do that as a bucket list one year.
That sounds cool, but I also am like, I'm old and like realistic now, so I'm like, that sounds like a lot of work.
It is
real burned out in like day 4.
It is, dude. But like last year, I'd get in my truck and I would drive 4 hours to whatever event was, and I would just chase cars all day, and then I'd go back to the hotel by myself, and then I would
sounds awesome, actually.
Oh, dude. And then
I never got to experience that, man. Maybe I'm missing.
Drive all the way back to Arkansas, and it's just fun. It's just fun.
I'll say that the best times I had was Beast of the East #1 at Gates of Hell, and then Beast of the East #2, because some of the cool things happened at Gates. We like rolled up on them, and one of the first things I did was like, I'm gonna put my tiny whip through that ladder up there, and they're like, yo, if you can do that, you get a prize. So I'm like, all right, here, hold my DVR screen. So like I gave Banana the screen, and I just sent the tiny whip up there and like banged it down through the ladder a couple times, and then I came back and I did like a little flip and landed in Banana's like hands, and I was like, I'm done here. So I feel real cool. I was like, I can't believe I pulled that off. And then at the second Beast of the East, I was flying my plane, my 3D plane, and Bachgrinder comes out with his camera and he's like filming me flying the plane. I'm like, oh, and I like bring it in and I like catch it out of the air, and I'm like, I never did that before, and Bachgrinder was recording me. That was so cool. It's all hyped up, man. Like,
that sounds like a lot of fun. And that's stuff that I haven't got to do. For sure. There's not a whole lot of that goes around.
How far is Castle Crash from you?
Where's it at?
South Carolina, North Carolina.
I mean, I think that's like 12 hours or 16 hours or something.
That's far.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot that goes on around here. Atlanta's the closest.
Hopefully my work brings me somewhere closer to you, and we will meet up. I do travel around at times, so that would be awesome, man.
Yeah.
But I guess if I had to like promote anything real quick, it would be go listen to Waxless Radio on the podcast. Check out my record, Waxless Steadfast, on Spotify, whatever. And look for really cool stuff coming at fpvhelpdesk.com in the near future. T-shirts, prop poppers, prop rippers. More soon on that, but it's gonna be awesome. The way that thing got developed was so cool, man. And at Beast of the East, Mike Duran from GemFan saw it, and then he like lost his mind, and then like came back later to tell me how much he liked it again. And I was like, all right, cool, okay, that's cool. That's affirmation. So I'm onto something. So
Yeah,
We'll
sounds
see,
like
we'll see.
it.
yeah, well, you'll be the first one to know about it.
I'll pick some up and put them in the store.
I'm gonna put a handful of them in your T-shirt order. How about that?
Oh, right on. I appreciate
I'm
that.
gonna go print a bunch right now for you. Because I gave all of them out. That's why I couldn't find one, because I gave them all away. So I got a couple out there. Reports coming back that it's gonna be useful. But
I'm really
so, yeah.
intrigued.
FPVHelpDesk.com. That's going to be where all like the SDL files live for the stuff I'm inventing too. So if you want the shoes for the AOS 3.5, I'm sure nobody wants the shoes for the AOS 3.5, but I think it's funny. So plus it just stands on things now. It's great.
Well, brother, I appreciate
thank you so much, man. This has been awesome. I really appreciate it.
You sleep tight.
Oh, I'm gonna sleep.
Keep
so well
ripping.
tonight. I got up way too early.
And I'll try and get this edited over the next couple days. And
Yeah, whatever. All right, hey everybody, stay safe. Make good decisions. And one last thing, right? The pilot who has arrived knows when not to fly. That's all I'll say. They know when to say, you know what? I don't need to plug in right now. I've gotten to the spot before, and I've said, it's not a good idea to fly right now. And that drive home was actually more satisfying knowing I made the right choice when it started to rain. So,
yeah, I've done that
you don't
too.
have to fly that day. You don't have to. You might really want to, even if it's an awesome spot, but you might not have to.
That's why you got Whoop, so you can fly at home.
Exactly. Go whooping at home.
All right, brother.
Whoop
Peace
is the
out.
way.
Love you.
Peace.